We'll get there. We'll get there. Are we ready to liberate our country? Are we ready? Yeah, without further ado, I want to call the chairman of our party, Mr. Sam Moshero, to come and give a few remarks and invite other officials of the party to address us as we go on with the program. Meanwhile, Gravity Band, please get ready so that we can play the dramatic music for our roots party. Bwana Sam Moshero, karibu.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ujambo? Mmefika? Chama ni chenu. Kwa niaba yangu kama mwenyekiti wa chama cha Roots Party, ningependa kualika hapa leo. Hii ni siku muhimu sana. Tunashukuru sana kwa nyinyi wote kufika. Mmeamua kuja na mmekuja kufanya kile tunachotaka. Kuona ya kwamba mnachukua nchi na mnaendeleza mambo ya mbele. Mimi kama mwenyekiti wa chama sitasema mengi. Leo ni siku ya rais. Yale nitakayosema ni kwamba chama tumekishikilia. We have maintained and made sure that the party has been inclusive, and as you look at the team that represents the party, represents everybody in this country. From the Asian community, from the Western region, Central Province, Nairobi, which is the metropolitan and the melting point of the Kenyan nation. Kwa haya yote, mimi ningetaka kusema kwamba nimeshukuru na karibuni. Kwa haya machache ningependa kumuita Secretary General wetu wa chama, Bwana Adam. Karibu.
Habari zenu? Salama. Tuko salama? Leo ni ile siku. Tulikuwa tunangoja hiyo siku. Tumefika hapa. Then let us go out there, tell everybody who is missing what we saw here, what we witnessed, and what we want to do to take this country to another level. Are we together? As put by my chairman here, we as a party are a multifaceted party. You can see, I'm a young guy, we have older people. I'm an Asian, we have Africans, we have the minorities. I might be educated, but we have those who have not yet got that chance to seek their education. So us as a party, we are here to free Kenya, to make sure that each and every one of us feels like a Kenyan and deserves what they are to get in their future by joining hands with us and liberating this country. As put by the chairman, today is the day we are launching our manifesto. And today is the day for our president, the 5th president of Kenya, Professor George Luchiri Wajackoyah. So, without wasting any further time, we have some entertainment lined up, and Jmo, vile munampenda Jmo ule mse, will take you through the rest of the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Kama mnavyojua, chama yetu imeleta vision kubwa sana, vision ambayo imeletwa by Professor Wajackoyah and Justina Omai. And one of our key pillars is how to liberate our economy. Our economy has always been under the captive of some few people in this country. And this time round we are saying the economy has to be for everyone. Ama namna gani? Sindio? Na tumeleta ile mambo ya bangi. Na hiyo mambo ya bangi, kuna watu wametoka kuipiga sana, wanasema sijui mambo nini. So today we brought an expert called Dr. Ogot Gwada. Because what we are saying is the cultivation of industrial hemp for industry purposes and medicinal use for export. Ndio mahali popote kuna shida ya shamba huku Kenya. Kila mtu ambaye wako na ardhi watakuwa na pesa. Pesa mfuko kwa kila mtu, si ndio? Si pesa kwa watu kidogo na sisi hatuna pesa. So we brought an expert who understands the language of our Professor Wajackoyah, the language of Justina Wamai, and the language of the millions of Kenya who subscribes to our vision. So I want to call Dr. Ogot to come here and please pass the message. Please, aambie watu, hakuna mtu anasema watoto wavute bangi, hapana. Sisi tunasema tupande bangi, tuuze, to export, si ndio? Dr. Ogot, please, come and speak to your people. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it is indeed an auspicious occasion for us to gather here as a constituency that has had no voice in this country through the years. I would like to thank particularly the leadership of the Roots Party, Professor George Oluchiri Wajackoyah and Justina Wamai, his running mate, for making all this possible and for giving a voice to the voiceless and for giving a face to the faceless. For the last nearly 6 years since 2017, I have led an almost lonely battle in Parliament, trying to get marijuana legalized at the expense of being called a madman. So I wish to state that I stand here as a father of grown-up children who are also well-to-do in their own right, but as a believer in the cause of marijuana. As a man who believes in the philosophy of Rasta, I am at peace with nature, and I have no problem with the green herb. I also speak here as a prophet, and one who, most of the things that you see going on in the country and the world today, I had written about nearly 4 or 5 years ago. Amongst the things that I had written about as early as 2018 was the painting of cities in colors, as you have seen in Mombasa, in Kisumu and in Nakuru. I had written about the repossession of railway land and housing. I had written about the glory and the future of the Rastaman as being the owners of the future. I had written about the liberation of a new nation and the birth of a new nation. And I do this all in the name of God. Anybody who believes in, I get my motivation from the Holy Bible. If anybody doubts that what we are doing is divine, I would love you all to go and read the book of Ezekiel 34:29, when God speaks about a plant of great renown that he shall give to the world to heal the problems of society and to remove shame from his people. I would also like you all to go and read the book of Isaiah 65:5 that gives the history of the origin of marijuana. So when we speak here as responsible men and women who know what they're doing and who should not be considered mad by any chance. In the same Holy Bible, speaks about the stone that the builder refused, that was to return to be the head cornerstone. You will find that in the book of Psalms 112. I speak about a herb that is in the Bible written as one that shall bring healing to nations and that shall bring people together as one. for near the last 15 years. I was attached to Citizen TV as a political analyst for nearly 7 years. And subsequently, I worked as head of research for Uganda's premier electoral institution for 7 years as head of research. While I worked there, I came out with 2 copyrights. One, for electronic rigging and electronic observation, and 2, for the universal theory of genital modifications that explains all circumcision, all genital modifications as being based on water and sunshine. It is today a universal principle that is accepted, that where there is fresh water, there is no circumcision, and where there is no fresh water, there is circumcision. I speak here with great pride because I see many people who are gathered here today, youngsters, old people, who have come together to proclaim to the world that those who were thought not to know may just be the ones who have the answer to the future. I speak here to a nation that has condemned a lot of marijuana speakers, and I speak in solidarity with those brothers and sisters who still languish in prison because of laws that were made without recognizing the due place of plants, and particularly marijuana. Today, I am glad to tell you and to join your voices too in proclaiming that the solution that the Roots Party provides is based on the concept of a marijuana economy. And what do I mean by a marijuana economy? There are 3 strands of marijuana. One is called cannabis indica forma. That is the medical variant of marijuana, and that is what has a THC or tetrahydrocannabinoid content of 12% and above. That is what is specifically used to make medicines. Anybody will tell you that all medicines that are sold over the counter, the universal base is one: marijuana.
Exactly.
You will also be told by those who wish to stand and speak for the truth, and by those who believe, as the Bible says, that let not a good thing be called bad. That marijuana is not bad. And nobody can condemn marijuana.
Exactly.
And that those, no one can condemn what God has made and given his people to use. And for those who do not know the usage of this plant, very soon a book will be coming out in about 3 weeks that explains the origin, the basics, the networks, the potential, the properties of marijuana. Next is the second strand, which is called cannabis sativa L, otherwise known as hemp. While cannabis indica forma is specifically medicinal, hemp or cannabis indica L, cannabis sativa L is specifically the industrial variant. You are carrying proof of the efficacy and the economic benefits of marijuana. If you have money in your pocket, you have a sample of what marijuana can do for our economy. Number 2, Many people do not know that in all the ports, it is also my pleasure to inform you that all military uniforms across the world, including the tandaruas, the tarpaulin, are made from hemp fiber. Third, it is also my wish to inform you that next, I'm also happy to inform you that hemp can produce fertilizer for our farms. It can produce chicken and cow feed for agriculture. The growth of these plants, you do not need, it just grows and heals the soil as well. So in other words, we have a plant that stands on two main legs, the medicinal and the industrial. The third variant of marijuana is called cannabis ruderalis. That is hardly found in these regions. It's the peak of the marijuana plant, mainly found in the colder South Africa we can talk about. And for many people who may not know, liberation comes in packages that may not necessarily be sweet, just like medicine. If I am sick today, I will be given malaria cream, not because it is sweet, but because it will heal me. It will make me healthy. And on that note, I wish to appeal to our party leadership to take charge and lead and help us push for the legalization of marijuana, not just as an economic revolution, but also as a spiritual passage to all those who use marijuana to express their spirituality. Thirdly, as we approach the elections, every person has always said that we're looking forward to a violent election. And that has been the case. And when there has been violence, it has been accused of those who smoke marijuana. Not true. That's a lie. For anybody, I went round with the party leadership through Western Kenya, through Kisumu, into every slum where I was born, in Nyalenda, Obunga, Kondele Massive. Not a single stone, not a single insult, no pleas for money, just peace and one love. Just peace and one love. So I speak to a constituency that has been sat on, that has been shut on, that has been spat on, but one that has stayed resilient to their call for a better nation, a healthier nation, and a wealthier nation. And in that regard, I wish to appeal to all my brothers and sisters across the country that maybe the time to make a change is now. If there is any doctor or teacher or pupil who believes in a greater future and a better future where everybody has an equal chance to have money in their pocket because they own a half an acre, that time is now. If there is anybody, if there is any soldier or policeman in this room who is driven by the spirit of nationalism and who would love to wear uniforms that will last for 30 years or 20 years, grown in a military farm or grown locally to make our uniforms locally and in the ideal of pursuit of self-sufficiency, then that time is now. I appeal to every woman across the land who is aware that marijuana can provide marijuana oil for us to smear on our bodies and not Vaseline petroleum, because petroleum is for vehicles and machines. Anybody who requires organic medicine and organic oil, then that time of liberation is now. I appeal to our political leadership who have promised us emancipation from poverty, who have given glorious promises which they have not fulfilled. If they're truly and in their hearts convinced that they love this country as a shared space, where there is space for those who use and those who don't use, where there is space for those who believe in what we believe and those who do not believe, then their time to make a change is now. I stand here with a lot of pride to be part of a party and part of a team that has chosen a way that today is being seen as progressive universally, but that yesterday was seen as backward and retrogressive. I appreciate you, my brothers and sisters, with all the love that I can. I appreciate you for your resilience, because many people say that the Rasta man did not have a voice, and I said that let's give the Rasta man his voice once again. Now is the time, my brothers, now is the time, my sisters, to appreciate that God is the sole provider of all crops and plants. And it is Him who gave us this beautiful plant, which we all know what can do. By the time it gets to a stage where one presidential candidate has called himself Buffalo Soldier, another one has said he's a reggae man, and the third presidential candidate who we are here to support has come out and said that I will legalize. Surely there must be something special about this plant. If there was nothing special about this plant, not every candidate would have wished to associate with this thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
My brothers and sisters, who would have thought that one day in Kenya, the political future and fate of the nation would lie in the hands of the marijuana constituency? Who would have ever thought that we would get to a stage where we would be looking forward to the marijuana constituency as the way forward? It is a true revolution. So I appeal to you, all those who know that the time to legalize marijuana is here. I ask you to vote for Professor Wajackoyah and Christina Omaya. I urge you, all those who know that it is time for peace and healing, to vote for change through Professor George Wajackoyah.
Exactly.
I appeal to you to lead the way forward, for God has blessed you to be called here today to lead this revolution, a green revolution, a revolution that shall be filled with smoke, not of burning, but smoke of love and smoke of unity. I appeal to your greater sense of discipline, that in doing everything we do, and as long as I have done it since I started, I have tried to walk and talk through the narrow path of the law, even though it has been difficult. We have no reason to fight with our brothers and sisters. We have no reason to live in confrontation with the security agencies over marijuana, but we have reason as those who know what lies in this plant, to be messengers of God, to be messengers of light, to go and speak to those who do not know, to teach them that the day or the time has come for those who are behind to come to the front, those who are down to be lifted up, those who are forgotten to be remembered, and those who knew no love to be loved. For the time is now. I appeal to you, my brothers and sisters, that as this continues, I am sure each one of you should lead himself or herself in planning for this bright future that beholds after the legalization of marijuana. I'm sure you're aware 250 acres of marijuana produces $5.1 billion per year. It is considered the world's most profitable cash, food, industrial, and spiritual crop. From the roots of marijuana, we will make ointment for our knees and our pains. From the stalks of marijuana, we will make yarn and paper for our books. From the buds of marijuana, we will make marijuana oil to fuel our industry. From the buds of marijuana, we will make marijuana oil to smear and smoothen our bodies. From the buds of marijuana, we will make cooking fat to cook our food. In short, what I'm saying, if we legalize marijuana, the prices of food shall go down. The prices of oil shall go down. The cost of education shall go down. The cost of living shall go down. But this will only be possible if we vote in Professor George Chiri Wajackoyah and his running mate, Justina Wamai. As I come to a close, ladies and gentlemen, I leave you with one message. There is a destination which we set out to reach and which we have not reached. I am asking you that on August 9th, let each and every Kenyan everywhere agree in their heart that there will be no chance for anybody to tamper or steal the votes, because everybody will have come out to vote for the two candidates who will liberate this country from the talons of poverty, the talons of pain, the talons of backwardness, and to catapult them to a brighter future, that they shall be able to fulfill their dreams as fathers and mothers, that courtesy of marijuana shall go home and you shall be able to provide clothing for your children, money for your children, and food for your children. Everything that I have told you in the name of God Almighty, and may God Almighty bless you so much, each of you, and when you go home, go and spread the message of love. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Wapi kelele ya Dr. August Gwada. Unajua, with the permission of the fifth, the reason why we brought an expert is to explain what our economic model is to explain the message we are preaching. Unajua, watu wengine wanazunguka, wao wanasema nikiingia tutaweka, sijui tutatoa hii pesa. Hakuna mtu amesema mahali atatoa, ndio hiyo mabilions wanasema watawekea, sijui akina nani. Kuna mtu amesema mahali itatoka? It's only Professor Wajackoyah who is saying the money will come from so and so, ndio DJ Tiagas. Kabla tuendelee, tuchezee na ngoma kidogo, then I will invite Jali to come and perform a song, and then the Gravity Band to take over, and then we'll continue with our program. Thank you. Kata simu, kata simu. When I say professor, you say Wajackoyah. Professor, professor, Wajackoyah, eh? Wajackoyah, Wajackoyah, eh? Na 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 na. Right in the building. Yeah man, alongside the man like Lyric. This one's a brand new tune. Yeah man, this one is called Roots Party. Backed by the Gravity Band. Introducing to you Nairobi, Kenya. Make some noise for this man called
Wanaweza wawezi? Wapigeni makofi tafadhali. Nairobi is the baddest band in Kenya and the whole of East Africa. The baddest band in the Gravity Band. Over to you, Jemo.
Unajua wakituona tukikula sherehe kwa manifesto yetu wanasema sisi ni waraudi, na sisi tunajua zile vitu wanafanya behind the scene wakishatuibia pesa yetu, si ndio? So sisi tunapiga sherehe publicly, si ndio? Because ni manifesto ya the 5th, si ndio? Wapi ngumi ya Wajackoyah? Ndio. Sawa pia just. Our party operations director, Mr. Alex Kanyi, to come and speak a few words, alafu tuendelee na programu yetu. Thank you so much. Alex.
Kwa Kenya oi. Rastaman oi. Taongea machache. As Jemo amesema, niwitoa Kanyi Kimani, and that role he have said that is my role. Tumefurahi sana wa Kenya, and I'm very happy to see Rastaman allowed, kwa sababu we are very dedicated and we want Rastaman to guard our votes. Rastaman kila mahali atakuwa, yeye ndiye atachuga votes za Roots Party. Rastaman ndiye anatuandalia our campaigns. Rastaman ndiye anatutafutia kura. Rastaman oi. Nashukuru sana.
You know, our party manifesto is very clear. Money not for the few, money for all. Resources for all. Prosperity and progressiveness for all. Na nataka, because our party really supports talent development in this country as a key pillar of economic development, nataka kuita kijana mmoja wa mtaa anaitwa Bancho, ambaye ametengeneza ngoma moja kali sana for Professor Wajackoyah and Justina Wamai. Bancho.
Yeah. Wajackoyah bwana, mimi naitwa Bancho. Nimetokea Mombasa Likoni, au sio? Nimekuja kusupport Wajackoyah bwana. Sikia. Mimi nasema hivi, Wajackoyah si tunakupenda. Wewe nijibu, mafisadi usisahau kunyonga, au sio?
Kweli.
Wajackoyah si tunakupenda.
Mafisadi usisahau kunyonga.
Sema Wajackoyah si tunakupenda.
Mafisadi usisahau kunyonga.
Bwana, mama Justina na mheshimiwa, naomba mkuja hivi kidogo, au sio? Naomba kidogo tujibambe pamoja, au sio?
Yeah man.
Justina Wajackoyah. Sikia kidogo bro. Sikia kidogo. Nikisema kitu niambie haiwezekani, au sio? Haiwezekani eti mkono ni washe nitaikamata milioni zimebaki siku chache. Haiwezekani yule demo niache mimi nimemonga paka foni na sijonja tamate. Haiwezekani pande ya kukamate akuachie na simpe chochote.
Haiwezekani.
Squeeze mapenzi bila ya do.
sawa na ugali upike kwa choo. Bwana, Wajackoyah mheshimiwa, twende.
Mad respect.
Shukrani. Bwana, nyanyuka juu kwa heshima mzee.
Hassan Wandrop.
Bwana, simama juu kwa heshima mzee, simama juu. Twende kasi.
Ruti Party.
Simama juu kwa heshima mzee.
Na watoto hawana karo. Usidanganywe na masharubaro.
Usidanganye utapewa tausita.
Uongo kabisa. Unashikanishwa. Twende. Tikisa muti. Tikisa muti. Yakoya. Tikisa baba. Tikisa. Yasina mama. Tikisa muti. Tikisa muti. Kidogo bwana. Bwana mtikisi bwana. Wajackoyah Jasina Wajackoyah bwana Tutangarote maza kuja kati. Twende DJ Makufu baby. Sio Jemole mse. Mkono wote hivi. Twende. Kama una shati twende.
Jemole mse. Usidanganye
na masharubaro.
Na watoto
hawana karo. Usidanganye na masharubaro. Usidanganye utapewa tausita. Uongo kabisa. Unashikanishwa. Tikisa muti. Tikisa muti. Wajackoyah baba. Tikisa. Yasina mama. Tikisa muti. Tikisa muti.
Wajackoyah Jasina.
Mashamba tupande maganja. Jipute tupande mamilioni. Tutoke tutafunga sawa. Mama yaende hospitalini. Wachina tuandike madeni. Masikole mwambe wapeni. Wajackoyah sisi tunakupenda. Wafisadi sisi kunyonga.
Siku ni nne kwa
kazi. Baadaye sherehe na wazazi. Najua
tunataka sisi. Tunataka hivi.
Anzia kwa basi. Sikia. Mashamba tupande maganja. Tuuze tupate mamilioni. Twende. Anzia kwa basi bro, sianze mwanzo. Twende tukaisana. Mheshimiwa usiboeke. Mheshimiwa Wajackoyah bwana tunakupenda sana. Wapi kelele Wajackoyah mzee?
Wajackoyah.
Deputy President. Kuja udansi na mheshimiwa.
na watoto hawana karo. Usidanganye na masharubaro.
Usidanganye utapewa tausita. Uongo kabisa. Unashikanishwa. Tikisa muti. Tikisa muti. Tikisa. Wajackoyah baba. Tikisa. Yasina mama. Tikisa muti.
Wajackoyah
Jasina mashamba tupande maganja. Tuuze tupande mamilioni. Watoto tutafunga sawa. Na dawa ziende hospitalini. Wachina tuandike madeni. Masikole wapewe mabeni. Wajackoyah sisi tunakupenda. Mafisadi sisao kunyonga. Siku ni nne kwa kazi. Baadaye sherehe na wazazi. Najua wanakuwa na chizi. Na vijana tunataka hivi. Mwezi wa 8 tarehe 9 ni wewe na Jasina. Kupitisha na waache vijina. Wajackoyah Jasina Wajackoyah Jasina Tikisa muti. Wajackoyah baba. Tikisa. Jasina mama. Tikisa muti.
Yeah man. They call me Hassan Wandrop. Yeah man.
Thank you so much. Tumesema leo ni pure entertainment as we unveil the vision of our country. And nataka kidogo tumuite Shamir. Shamir ni msanii mkali sana wa reggae nchi hii ambaye amekuwa akieneza information about how we should move forward as a country. Shamir, karibu sana. Karibu sana, karibu sana.
Niaje watu wangu wa nguvu? Niaje? Niaje? Siwasikii, niaje? Mko vipi? Nataka msikie kitu moja, sawa? Mwimbe na mimi, sawa? I say to all of my jiggers and my MCs, hands in the air if you love. We have to legalize it. How VP? I mean, say playing reggae music is a must, and giving love to the girl them is a must. I mean, say tell you it's a must, it's a must, it's a must. Skiza. I mean, say mimi ni Rasta, na mi napenda Wajackoyah, and I won't waver from this road that I'm on. Preaching the gospel of love is my only occupation, yeah. And you can go to jail if you think that will stop. I mean, say playing reggae music is a must, and giving love to the guy them is a must. Promoting peace and love is a must. It's a must, it's a must, it's a must. Burning down Babylon is a must. I just you on me plate is a must. Writing up my home is a must. It's a must, it's a must, it's a must, yeah. So string up the sound and play reggae music louder. Oh, this is the message I endorse it now, yeah. Hear the calling, yeah, and don't you ignore. You know this is time to let the good vibes flow. I mean, say playing reggae music is a must, giving love to the girl them is a must, promoting peace and love is a must, yeah. I mean, say na 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 na. Me, even when I didn't deserve your loving, yeah. And you're back shining like the gang up against the I said your love surrounds me from my head to my toe. I'm fully set. I mean say I tell you I'm grateful. Oh Chanda, I'm grateful. I mean say I mean say I tell you I'm grateful. I tell you I'm grateful. I mean say oh God, you bless me, bless me, bless me. You bless me, bless me, bless me. Oh God, you bless me, bless me, bless me. And they can see all the goodness you bring. Oh God, you bless me, bless me, bless me. You bless me, bless me, bless me. Oh God, you bless me, bless me, bless me. And they can see. Let me you say yeah, yeah. Say yeah, yeah. Say yeah, yeah. Say yeah, yeah. If you love reggae music, say Irish. Say Irish. Say Irish. Oh, big up yourself. Yeah. Come now, join my man, Sidio. Sidio. How you doing? Kabla nimalize nataka niambie kitu moja, sawa? I say one love, mimi na mimi, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. I want you to sing now, one love. Siwaski, one heart. I say let's get together and feel alright. I give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. I give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Give up, give up, give up, give up. Give thanks, respect, one love.
Huko India, si ndio? Si mnajua India is the biggest pharmaceutical country in the world, na ile hemp mingi tutapeleka wapi? Ndio maana unatuona tuko na Wahindi hapa, si ndio? My friend, introduce yourself na uongee na watu kidogo, 2 minutes, alafu tusonge. Asante.
Wajackoyah fire! Fire fire! Wajackoyah moto! Kwa majina naitwa Wanyama. Iko tu karibu na ile ya Wajackoyah, lakini ni Wanyama. I'm an aspirant in Ruai. Kasarani constituency. Watu wote wa Nairobi ambao mko hapa, ningependa kuwaomba kazi ya marketing of our party is very simple. Sio kama huko kwingine unaweza pigwa. Huku kwetu very simple, meet the people, ongea nao, wanataka pesa, hao watu wote wanataka do. So the moment you meet the people, watakuwa wanataka do. Na you tell them professor ako na formation, na sisi ambao tuko nyuma yake maze, mambo si rahisi. Mambo ni tunapigana huku kwingine, hao jamaa wamejihami, lakini tunaomba nyinyi mahali mko maze, kumbuka Roots Party even in your prayers, kumbuka Roots Party, kumbuka kuna wasee hapa. Tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 tukipatana hapa nje kwa Kanjo, uniambie umekaziwa parking, I'll give you my parking hapo ndani ya county hapo. Nashukuru sana, tunapigia Wajackoyah, tingiza mti. Roots Party fire.
Tingiza mti.
Mimi I'm a telecommunications engineer. I've been working on the Safaricom network for the past 12 years. I'm responsible for the Nairobi East network. Tukisema Nairobi East network pande ya Safaricom, tunasema venye ikikuja iende ingie Ngong Road hivi hadi Ngong pande hii, pande ya East. That is what I've been managing for the past 12 years. Na I'm very sure there is no complaint ya mtu hajakuwa na network. Kama unatoka Nairobi, if there is a complaint about network, niko hapa, niko very sure I will escalate mahali penye kunafaa. Otherwise, big up my good people. Tuko pamoja.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today for the launch of our manifesto for Roots Party of Kenya. My name is Arjun Chauhan. I'm running for NCA Parklands Highridge. If we have people registered in Western constituency, please don't forget to vote for me.
and my party leader, my father figure, Professor John Wajackoyah and Justina Wamai. In a short while, we are going to show you our manifesto. It's for our nation. All I'll say is please vote wisely and peacefully. Na msisahau kutingiza miti. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Tingiza miti.
Amjambo wa Kenya. Wajackoyah oye. Majina yangu naitwa Jonathan Bet, natoka Kitale Cherangani. Mimi nasimama katika chama cha UDP, lakini mkurugenzi mkuu ni Wajackoyah oye. Oye. Mimi naomba kwamba iwapo Wajackoyah atakuwa president, na ninatumai atakuwa president, mimi nitakuwa waziri wa ukulima. Hili ni pande bangi ili place mahindi, kwa vile mahindi huko Cherangani huko bei chini. Wajackoyah!
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jambo. My name is Naran Arjan, and I'm vying for Mugomoini Langata. Neguo, Tingiza miti. We have a vision, and I'm so proud with our party leader, Wajackoyah and Christina. We will make it. This is the vision we have, and is the future for Kenya. Thank you.
Yeah. Tumeona ground iko. Yeah. Sasa
Oye! Wajackoyah oye! Kenyans, I want you to listen to me. Kwa majina naitwa Rogers Okumu Baraza. I come from Western, and if we elect Professor Wajackoyah today, mimi ndio naenda kukuwa president, the fifth president, Professor Wajackoyah. Professor Wajackoyah comes from my ward. A leader is going to do and work on actions. And that leader is none other than Professor Wajackoyah. I want also you guys to listen to me as we unveil our manifesto. If you look at the gentleman seated there, Professor, you look at the strong woman has managed to take my brothers. Roots Party is saying we need bangi as medicinal value. We need marijuana to improve the economy of this country. I won't say much, my brothers, but I want to urge you, my fellow youth, that come 9 August 2022, which is only around 30-40 days to come, please do us a honor as we celebrate the liberation of this country. Freedom is coming.
Freedom is bangi kwa Eden ambaye ana represent Waislamu. Waislamu pia wako kwa Roots Party wengi sana. Yeah. Eden. Uje ongea na watu kidogo.
Adan, and I'm from Mandera. Mimi niko hapa ku represent Waislamu na Wasomali community at large. Sasa I'm part of the officials ya Roots Party of Kenya. Leo we are kuambia some few points about Professor Wajackoyah. Kuna watu wenye walikuwa wanasema Wajackoyah hakuwa anajulikana na he is a project or watu mwenyewe na recognize Wajackoyah. Si lazima Wajackoyah ajulikane na state watu wenye wako kwa wenye wanayojiita mahaslas na sijui majina zingine. So kama wanyonge wanaweza recognize Wajackoyah, si lazima wengine wajue Wajackoyah ni nani. Si ndio? Sasa sisi ndio wenye wanapiga kura na sisi ndio tutaamua. Si namna hiyo? Kitu ya pili, kuna maulamas na watu wa kanisa wenye walikuwa wanasema bangi ni mbaya. Okay, sisi tunatarajia wakuje watuambie okay, hii kitu kama mna legalize, si lazima tusikize watu wenye wanasema maheta, si ndio? Sisi tunajua hii kitu will be legalized, si ndio? Sasa hata juzi tulikuwa tunaona kwa media watu wanasema hii kitu ni mzuri, hata mtu fulani akiingia tutalegalize. Ni kama tu wanaiba idea yetu, si ndio? Sasa sisi tunasema hiyo ni idea ya Roots Party of Kenya na Wajackoyah, si ndio? Sasa kama walikuwa wanaogopa mbeleni, sisi tunauza sera yetu. Kitu ya pili walisema snake ni kitu mbaya, ama walikuwa wanaona kama ni that famine of nini inajulikana countrywide, I mean worldwide. Just to touch on a point on the cost of snake, cobra's venom ina cost around 153 per gallon dollars, that is in dollars. Sasa ikikuja kwa pesa yetu after 3 months ama 4 months tumelipa pesa ya wa China, si ndio? Wanakataa, wanasema bank haina pesa, na tumewaonyesha list yenye inaonyesha prices ya bank kama countries zenye wananunuanga na ngapi. Sasa in 1 year time hiyo pesa yote yenye tunadaiwa tunamaliza, si ndio? So Kenya literally itakuwa country kubwa yenye watu wanakuja wafanye farming hapa. Pharmaceutical companies watakuja hapa wajue sasa venye tunafanya farming, wakuje wachukue venye wata extract hiyo sumu na bangi, ndio waende watengeneze dawa wakuje watutibu, si ndio? Sasa mimi nawaambia okay, kitu kingine watu wasiseme hakuna inclusivity kwa Roots Party of Kenya. Mumeona tuko na Warasta, tuko na Waislamu, tuko na Wakristo, tuko na Wahindi na tuko na kila mtu, si ndio? In terms of inclusivity, Roots Party ndio number 1, si ndio? Umewahi sikia mtu akitaja tribe ya Wajackoyah? Tunasema mtu fulani ni Mjaluo, mtu fulani ni Mluya. Wajackoyah is the only presidential candidate mwenye anawaleta wa Kenya pamoja, si ndio? Kuanzia dini, kuanzia mtu mgonjwa, watu wazuri na wabaya wote, yeye tu ndiye ametuleta pamoja, ndio tukakuwa one person, si ndio? Lazima tuingishe Wajackoyah. Freedom is coming. Asanteni.
Roots Party is the only party which has genuinely recognized young people in this country. Viongozi wa Warasta hapa, they come and say a few words, alafu ndio tuendelee, ndio? Na Warasta wakijipanga, I want to call our SG, our Secretary General, to come and recognize who is the PA. I want to recognize Brian and Edu, who is the Communication Director.
Thank you Jemo. Kabla tuendelee na program, just a small recognition for a movement and an individual who has been supporting us throughout this journey. The Free Kenya movement, if you have heard, has been an integral part of the Roots Party, and they have supported us and are now willing to move forward with us on this journey towards the general election on the 9th of August. On that note, can I please request for 1 or 2 minutes Honorable Bob Njagi, the chairman of the Free Kenya movement, to come and give us some words of encouragement going forward. Bob Njagi, please.
Roots Party, tingiza mti. Roots Party, Roots Party, Roots Party. I Rastaman. My name is Bob Njagi. I'm the chairperson of the Free Kenya movement.
Free Kenya Movement is a coalition of independent candidates countrywide, and so far we have a number of members of the county assembly, we have members of parliament, we have governors, senators, women reps under the Free Kenya Movement. Ile kitu ambayo sisi kama vuguvugu la Kenya Huru hatujapata ni rais, manake hakuna independent candidate alipita kuwa rais. Lakini hapa leo tumekuja kama vuguvugu ya Kenya Huru ambaye tunasema kama wagombea viti huru. Siku ya leo sisi tuko tayari kufanya kazi na Roots Party of Kenya, RPK, na tayari tulianzisha safari hii mwaka 2018 ambapo tulianzisha mchakato wa referendum ambaye inaitwa Free Kenya Popular Initiative. Vile unatuona hapa hivi, tuko viongozi mbalimbali kutoka Kenya taifa nzima, na ningependa kuwa introduce wenzangu ambao nimekuja nao hapa leo, nikianza na katibu mkuu wa vuguvugu la Kenya Huru, anaitwa Nicholas Oyo, makofi kwake. Tuko na treasurer wetu mweka hazina Bwana Mlialia Okumu, makofi kwake. Tuko na MCA Madam Harriet, tafadhali njoo Madam Harriet, ambayo ni member wetu, ni MCA wa Kitengela Ward, Olosirikon Chelinge Ward. Pia tuko na MCA kutoka Nandi County, ametoka ward inaitwa Maraba Kimeloi Ward, anaitwa Rasta mwenzenu wako hapa Rasta. Not forgetting our wakili wetu ambaye ametuwakilisha kotini. Tuko na kesi ambayo tunaendelea nayo kwa High Court. Tumeshtaki IBC kwa sababu waliweka sheria kali sana ya kulazimisha wagombea viti huru wapatiane photocopy ya IDs. Kwa hivyo kupitia wakili wetu Karani ambaye pia ni member wa Roots Party of Kenya na ni mgombea kiti wa ubunge, ningependa asalimiane pia.
Rastaman abuo! Rastaman abuo! Freedom ni nini? Freedom is bangi.
Asante. Bila kuzidisha zaidi, manake siku leo ni siku ya RPK. Kwanza ningependa kutoa salamu yetu nikisema weka ngumi moja kwa mkono, ngumi ya left hand. Kisema people power, higher power. People power, higher power. People power, higher power. People power, higher power. Higher power. Ukisema free Kenya, unasema everywhere. Free Kenya, everywhere. Everywhere. Free Kenya. Yeah, so today we are here as a testament that we have a new liberation that is coming. We have a change that is coming. Tuko hapa manake tunaona ile sera ambaye rais mtarajiwa Professor George Luchiri Wajackoyah ako nayo ni sera ambayo itaenda kusaidia kila mmoja wetu, kuanzia watoto, watu wazima na hata wazee. Manake tuko na haja ya kutoa mbinu ambazo zitaleta tofauti katika maisha yetu, au sio? Wale wengine wanapeana ahadi, tumesikia ahadi nyingi ambazo zinapeanwa. Tunaambiwa kuna uchumi ambaye itaziduliwa kutoka chini kwenda juu, lakini sijui ni uchumi gani hii. Manake tunataka viongozi wanatupatia suluhisho ambaye tunaona na tunajua. Wangapi wanasema legalize it? Legalize it. Legalize marijuana. Legalize marijuana. Free marijuana. Asanteni, na tungependa kuongea zaidi, lakini naomba rais mtarajiwa, tungependa kuwa na kongamano ya wagombea viti huru wote hapa Kenya, tukutane na rais mtarajiwa ili tuweze kushikana naye hadi siku ya mwisho kwa debe, au sio? Wangapi wanasema tuungane Free Kenya na RPK? Nione kwa mkono. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki na tuko pamoja. Thank you.
Sasa tunataka pia Warasta. Roots Party is a party for all. It's a party for all religions. It's a party for all young people, old, kila mtu, irrespective of their class or religious orientation. Nataka Warasta waongee, iko groups mingi. Unajua Warasta wako na mambo mingi yao. Leo watatuambia ukuje uongee, alafu ndio tupatie hii group hapa ambao ni kama watatupeleka kwa meditation. Thank you.
Wajackoyah. Wajackoyah. Kwa majina naitwa Mathenge Mukundi, Kenya First Rastafari Advocate. Leo I'm also the spokesperson of Rastafari Movement Kenya. We are offering unwavering full support to Professor. We believe and we trust in him. We want now an economic freedom, financial independence. Sasa tunataka pesa mkononi. Hatutaki pesa kwa mifuko ya wakubwa. Tunataka pesa mkononi. Kila mwananchi apate pesa. We also want legalization. Tunajua bangi ni mmea. We know bangi is a herb. Yes, I. Na hii mmea inaweza tusaidia kuinua uchumi wetu. Tunataka viwanda zenye zimekuwa zimekufa juu ya corruption. Tunataka pesa irudi kwa mwananchi. Thank you.
Asanteni sana. Warasa hapa wanataka kufanya chant. Nimeambiwa inaitwa chant. Wafanye chant yao, alafu kiongozi wao ataweza kuongea kidogo, atuambie what the Rasta community is saying. Sawa? Take it. Tuendelee. Rastafari.
Are you feeling iron, my people? Tingisha.
I said to free up, we black brothers in Africa. Free up, we black sisters. Free up, we black brothers in Africa. Free up, we black sisters. Free them up, free them up. Free them up, free them up, free them up. I am tired of colonialism. I am tired of imperialism. Joe! We black brothers in Africa. Free up, we black sisters. I said to free up, we black brothers in Africa. Free up, we black sisters. I said to free them up, free them up, free them up. Babylon, free them up, free them up, free them up. I am tired of colonialism. I am tired of imperialism.
A people without knowledge of their past is like a tree without its roots. Know yourself, black man, and love your culture, because the Almighty has made you as a perfect being in this creation. You are no lesser than any. We say Black Liberation Day. Black Liberation Day. Oh, what a great day this must be, when Africa is free. forefathers have been toiling in captivity and brutality that has been brought about by the colonial master. 1540 years ago, our forefathers died in the sea while they were being taken against their will to work on the cotton plantation and sugarcane plantation so that they can benefit the people who are not of our culture.
Haile Selassie the
and I take this minute to remember Patrice Lumumba, Haile Selassie, Dedan Kimati, Kwame Nkrumah, Agri Jaden, all the freedom fighters who have stood for our liberation. Haile
Selassie. We are the children of the ancient Africa, ancient Africa, ancient Africa. We are the children of the ancient Africa. Oh, yes, we are. Civilization come from ancient Africa, ancient Africa, ancient Africa. Civilization come from ancient Africa. Oh, yes, we are. Maths and physics come from ancient Africa, ancient Africa, ancient Africa. Maths and physics come from ancient Africa. Oh, yes, we are.
Professor Wajackoyah
is an ancient African, ancient African, ancient Africa. Professor Wajackoyah is an ancient African. Oh, yes, we are.
Love yourself, love your roots, because yes, your forefathers are the beginners of all the civilization. Civilization sprang along the river Nile to the old parts of the world.
Red, gold, and green.
Glory be to God, sound and power. Glory be unto the Most High Father of creation, Emperor Haile Selassie I the Fourth, Wajackoyah Menain I. Glory be unto Marcos Mosiah Garvey, who say and prophesy and say that the time for the black man liberation is here. Where are the great man and the great woman of Africa to represent I and I in this time? Rastafari, Messiah, Black Power. Yeah, man. My names are Rastafari, Lojuron Agri Jaden, and I is the chairperson of the Rastafari Society of Kenya. You have seen I and I in the battles in the court when we are defending our children against the cutting of their hair, which is the black man's blessing, because and we give thanks that through the court, the government of Kenya have declared that Rastafari is a faith like any other faith in the world and must be respected and according to the Constitution of Kenya, which brings us all together, Article 32, that all Kenyans are equal. I as Rastafari have been through great tribulation. As we all know the history, we are all historians and lovers of history, because people without knowledge of their past is like a tree without its roots. We all know that the history of Rastafari begins when our forefathers were taken against their will to the land of slavery to go and work for freedom, work for free for 400 years. A time has come now, 50 years, 55 years after independence, that God has sent for us another Moses. Because the problem that faces our continent today is malnutrition, poverty, sickness, illiteracy, and lack of opportunities for the young people. And we know very well that Africa is blessed with the sun, the soil, and fresh water, that if given opportunity, we are able to feed the world, not only with food, but provide medicine, and as well as also provide guidance to reduce immorality and the threat of nuclear warfare that we are seeing today happening in the rest of the world. So let us take this matter that is before our hand and this period as a serious time. Young people who have their voting card, please do not sleep. Turn out in large number so that you can make the rightful decision. Our people should stop suffering from cancer and poverty, because we are the richest continent in the world. And I have a lot to reason, but today is not our day. Today is the day for our chairperson and our elder, Wajackoyah, to come and tell us how he has a plan for the youth of this nation. But please, Your Excellency, as you are sent to be our 5th president of this country, remember that the Rastafari community has been sidelined for so long and marginalized, and our story has been misinterpreted. Please, as you enter, let us come closer to you so that we can also provide advice on how to preserve our environment and how to protect our culture as the indigenous people of Africa. Before I step out, let me give my pledge here 1 second to greet you all. Yes, sire. Yes, sire. Yeah, my name is Agitao Munene, and I am a traveler. I travel around Africa. Between Cape Town and Cairo, we do tourism, something called overland safaris. But I'm not here to tell you all that. I'm here to tell you it's time now to rise up, and it's time now to change up the perception that you have towards the word called marijuana, ganja. Change your perception. Go and check up videos on YouTube. We have a small video which is very interesting. It's called Hemp for Victory. This Hemp for Victory, it will prove you that, it will show you why America today is a superpower. Because Americans themselves, they had to use hemp for fuel, for anything you think of, medicine, so that the military could be able to be fully occupied and to do whatever they felt like doing. So who are we as Kenyans? And who are we as Africans not to give it a try and go forward and do whatever we need? And we can't do this unless we go with Professor Wajackoyah. All right. So go home, make sure your grandmother, even the toddler at home, make sure they know what marijuana is capable of and what ganja is capable of and what hemp is capable of, so that we don't have this perception of saying marijuana is bad, and marijuana was created by the Most High like the way we are created by the Most High. Okay? So it is our duty. We make sure that Roots Party ascends to State House with any complication. Full peace and love. This is what we preach as a Rastaman and as an African. So, Tingisha Miti. Tingisha Miti. Yes, make sure you don't forget, if you shake the tree, the fruits will fall down, and when the fruits fall down, you'll be healthy. So, Roots Party all the way. Blessings to the Most High.
Wapi kelele ya Warasta?
You know, our 5th president, Professor Wajackoyah, and our deputy president, Justina Wamai, wamesema they are going to guarantee religious freedoms. Kama ni Waislamu ujue Friday itakuwa Saturday pia tunatuli na Sunday pia. Nataka tuko na wakardinali ndani ya nyumba. Subaru ziko area, si ndio? Wapi kelele ya wakardinali? Wali wakuje, nataka kila mtu asimame. Si ndio?
Hebu kaende basi. Mr. DJ, no time to waste. Drop it. Kama unapenda reggae, kama unapenda Wajackoyah wewe. Nasema Ikifika tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 tunaweka kura kwa Profesa wakiwa na Vice President Justina. Kelele. Over to you.
Haya, tukae chini sasa. Acheze moja. Haya, Demakufu moja wa kutufukuza. Professor George favorite song ya our deputy president, sindio? Lakini sasa nataka kuambia the favorite artist of our fifth president. When I say Lucky, you say Dube Lucky. Special for Professor Wajackoyah. Let's go. Sawa. Tutulie kidogo, tutarudi kupiga densi. Sawa. Haya. Sawa. Tutulie kidogo, tuingie nafasi nyingine where we are going to unveil our manifesto. This is one of the serious businesses of this country. Na kuna mokorino hapa, simama usalimie watu, wave to the people. Kuna mokorino hapa ndani, salimia watu tu hivyo, weka mkono tu hivyo. Sawa, anaitwa Heze Junior. Haya, sawa. Sisi tunasema ni bangi ya kuuza, lakini unaona hata mokorino wako na mambo mengine, lakini tutaongea please. Okay. Ni sawa ndugu yangu. Ni sawa. Atakuwa transporter. Haya, sawa. At this point, nataka nimwalike our deputy president Justina Wamae aweze kutupatia vision ya nchi, then akimaliza atuitie rais wetu wa tano ambaye anaitwa nani? Justina, please take it. Wapi kelele ya Justina Wamae?
Asante sana. By the way, hiyo wimbo ina message. Rastaman anablimiwa kila kitu. Kweli uongo? Leo nilikuwa meeting ya youth council asubuhi, wenye waliona, yes. Na mimi nilicommit on behalf of Kenyan youth that we shall not be used to perpetrate violence. Swali nilikosea kucommit? Mimi hata niliwaambia Rastaman is a peaceful man. Kwa hivyo sisi tunajua future ni yetu na watoto wetu. Generation inakuja ni sisi tunalidi nchi. Kwa hivyo yetu na mali yetu, si ndio? Kwa hivyo niseme, unakumbuka tukiwa shule tulikuwa tunaambiwa andika insha, na unatumia msemo kama nina furaha bila kifani. Unakumbuka hivyo vitu? Mimi furaha yangu iko hivyo. Na niwashukuru kabisa. Pia nishukuru wa Kenya ambao wametutengenezea merchandise. Yani Roots Party has not spent anything on branding. But tunaona Mkenya ananunua t-shirt, Mkenya ananunua bana. Yani Kenyans are supporting us. Na mimi niko na confidence nikisema our campaign is people driven. Najua hiyo, I salute all of you. But I would want to appreciate one lady. Mama Yunea, please kuja tu. Ndio wale wazazi wako nyumbani waone mom wa hii age ana support Roots Party. Mom wa hii age anatumia hela zake, ametengeneza vikombe za Roots Party na wa Profesa Wajackoyah. Mom wa hii age anatengeneza merchandise. Karibu mama. Mimi nataka pole, si tuko na challenge nyumbani ya kuconvince wazazi wetu, shosho wetu, kuka wetu. So wanaona hii maneno ni bangi, si ni kitu mbaya. But mama Yunea akisimama hapa, it speaks volumes. So nampatia 1 minute atuongeleshe kama vijana Roots Party na Kenya mzima wajue hii chama iko na watu machua. Karibu mama. God is good all the time. Uliza mwenzako uko na kura au ni kujaza rumu na kucheza dance? Wajackoyah oye! Kila nyumba iko na mama, iko na nini na radha. Nani anaangalia chakula kama iko shubi? Tuko na mama. Jasmina oye! Oye! Mimi kile ningetaka kusema ni kushukuru Roots Party na honorable wetu Profesa Wajackoyah. Degree sasa 16 ni mchezo. Ni mchezo. Tumesoma kwa historia, kwa media, amesoma, ni kweli. Amefanya kazi gumu, hakuna kazi gumu kwa binadamu, ni kweli. Amuka asubuhi, elekea na njia, ambia Mungu yako, leo natoka kwa nyumba, nataka kufanya hivi, nataka kwenda shule. Kukiwa kama umeenda shule, masaa ile uko free, enda ukafanye kazi. Ni kweli. Nashukuru ma'am. Nimeshukuru mheshimiwa wetu. Niko nyuma yake. This is my daughter. I'm behind you, Unajua, today is our day. We are here to demystify Roots Party. Si ndio? Watu wanapenda kusema mambo mingi. Mengi yameandikwa kwa magazeti. Ati sisi ni project. In fact, sasa naweza sema enye gazeti yenye ifunge nyama. Ukweli uongo? Mimi nataka kuuliza Prof nikiwa hapa. Prof, umeona vile Wakenya wanatupenda? Wanatupenda bure. Bure, Prof. Kweli, sisi vile mnatupenda tunaweza asaliti? Hapana, we cannot. Tuko na nyinyi mpaka mwisho. I want to assure you that as Justina Wamae. Mimi, yani hata leo tumeimba national anthem. Karibu nilie. Unaona venye tunasema Kenya istahili heshima. Niyo basi imeniguza nikaona ukweli inastahili heshima. Lakini tunakosa heshima kwa nini? Hatuna pesa, mikopo huku na pale, tunataka donor funding, na tuko na shamba zetu. Mbona tusiekelee industrial hemp? Ama na madegani? Kwa hivyo mimi nasikia tu mkela mkilia mjue tu ni furaha. Lakini kwa unyenyekevu kabisa. Hizo vitu ndio zinafanya mtu asikie uchungu kwa Mkenya. But mimi ningewaomba kwa unyenyekevu. Unajua pia Rastaman na watu wa Roots tunaambiwa we are jokers. Mimi ningewaomba tu mniruhusu nisome tu hii speech. Niliandika from my heart na mniruhusu niongee kwa Kizungu. So that we can prove to Kenyans that one, tuko na gender, kweli wango? Na tuko na future, kweli wango? So let me read this speech kwa sababu hii niliandika tu from my heart. Na tuta maintain, Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, all protocols observed. My name is Justina Wangui Wamae, the presidential running mate to Professor George Lunchiri Wajackoyah. As a Kenyan, I have first-hand experience on how hard and tough it is to be a Kenyan. This opportunity is simply humbling to me, given that back in 1997 I was 10 years old, being brought up in Kibera, which was in Langata constituency then, and being in the same ballot paper 25 years later with my MP then. And most of the people who we are competing with have been in politics directly or indirectly. Guys, I'm humbled. And this speaks to wale watu wako nyumbani, children who are watching us, because I know as it is, wazazi wanaforce watu waone news. My parents used to do that. So I'm sure there are young kids at home wanaona hii by default, mzazi is watching. It is clear that wanasema your dreams are valid. Do not be scared to dream. Kweli uongo? Haya, niendelea nisema. Today I'm delighted as a woman and a youth to be on the decision-making table. This Roots Party ticket seeks to convert youth and women into frontline agents in the development agenda of Kenya. And to this end, Roots Party is cognizant that the presidency has two aspects. The hard aspects, which is legislations and regulations, but the soft aspects, which speaks to the minds and hearts of Kenyans. Roots Party has listened to the minds and hearts of Kenyans. And we are saying it is not right that 5.5 million youths are unemployed. 1.2 million Kenyans living above the poverty line of 220 shillings daily. High cost of living occasioned by increased taxes. High debt, which is approximately 10 trillion, meaning a child conceived today owes 189,000 Kenya shillings. Huyu ameconceiviwa. Human rights issues, because when I say Kenya istahili heshima, some people who are victims of the 1998 bombing were never compensated, but others were. What is the role of our government? To protect its people. Kenyans are stuck in the Middle East. Women, men, seeking greener pastures. How is the government protecting them? In this backdrop, Roots Party is the solutions to Kenya. Roots Party seeks to uphold the respect of Kenyans by first paying off our debt quickly as soon as possible. Shun donor support and instill confidence in our people that grass is greener in Kenya. Join us, let us water our grass in Kenya. As I stand here, I seek to speak to both men, women, and the youth. This demography requires us to amplify their voice. And the most important thing, tuliambiwa si pesa mfukoni, ni pesa mkononi. How are we going to achieve this as Roots Party? Number one, we want to legalize and regulate marijuana in this country. Marijuana is used across 9 sectors, producing over 25,000 products. The sectors are food and beverage, automobile fiber, construction and insulation, plastic and paper, furniture, textiles, cosmetics, lubricants, and medicine. All these we import. Kweli uongo? Yet we have people here, our own labor, who can do it. Many people at home might be asking, why did Roots Party focus on industrial hemp or marijuana? You know, someone was telling me you can do potatoes. I mean, the results are the same. But we have gone into research. Mulisikia Daktari Ogot hapa. Unaona uni mtu amesoma. Let us respect watu ambao wamesoma. And also let us learn to appreciate our own knowledge producers. You know, most of the time tunasoma maneno za wengine, we consume knowledge, but we are focusing on Kenyan knowledge producers like Dr. Ogot. Why industrial hemp? Ukiangalia global prices. Maize, 90 kg is 3,000. Sugarcane, the government is buying at 4,112 per ton. Coffee kwa gate is 23 shillings per kg. That is coffee and tea at the gate. But the market price for industrial hemp is 159,000 per kg. Our role as Roots Party is to run a profitable government. A government that does not seek to tax people, its people, or a government that doesn't need to borrow debt to run its projects. Exactly. So, how are we going to create employment for the women and youth? Number one, the youth, women, men will be farmers by default. Exactly. Si mnaelewa hivyo? Number two, there's a question on how we are going to control the CBD marijuana that tuliambiwa na Dr. Ogot na hii ingine ya THC ile ya kulevya. We are going to reintroduce agricultural officers who will be inspecting land like what they used to do with coffee. Finally, Professor has been saying that expressway yote itakuwa na bangi. And someone kweli mtu akaniuliza, haya sasa juu bangi itakuwa a commodity, itakuwa valuable, how are we going to protect? Tunasikia avocado zinaibiwa. Si tukasema we are going to recall all NYS youth who graduated na hawana kazi. Si walifundishwa? That is creating employment by default. Not forgetting the industries in the 9 sectors producing over 25,000 products. Kwa hivyo already youth are consulted, mwenye anataka kazi. But kuna the other type of youth and woman and man mwenye anasema I can be an investor. When you go to the bank they ask you for security as collateral. Ukweli? Tuko hata na gari, si tunatembea? Hata boda tuna. Ukweli? Ukitishwa logbook, do you have it? Ama mko nazo? Mimi naongea vitu viko. Ndio tukasema we will avail, because when we in government, land belongs to the government. 200,000 acres zitatengewa. We have a project like the early one where we pick the best 50,000 youths in cohorts. Cohort moja inaenda 4 months. 4 months, huyo youth anapata 4 acres out of the 200,000 acres ya serikali. Huyo youth anapanda marijuana yake ama industrial hemp. After 4 months in the calculations ya what China got last year and what this youth will get, we are committing that youth, one individual youth, will have 2.8 million as capital for their project. Let me say this, looking into the future, sustainability aspects. In 50 years, Nairobi will not be habitable because of climate change and global warming. But tukiekelea industrial hemp, it acts as crop cover, cover our soil. Kwa hivyo atakule arid and semi-arid areas. With time, that land will be habitable, it will be arable for farming. Hata Nairobi kikuwa moto ama watu wajae, when professor tells you that we will go to Isiolo, does it now make sense? It does. So let me say this, as we unveil our manifesto, this is the real change. This is the real financial independence. And I put to you Kenyans that we are ready for change. And I'll leave you with a quote. Najua lazima tuchangamshe bongo, eh? A guy called Ralph Waldo alisema, among the map makers of each generation are risk takers, those who see opportunities, seize the moment, and expand man's vision of the future. We as Roots Party are the risk takers, and we are seeking your mandate to expand Kenya's vision of the future. God bless you. Sasa ile wakati mmechangamka? Hapana, mimi nataka tear gas. Kuna ngoma mimi napenda. Hebu simameni ndio the akikuja hapa. Tear gas. Unajua umefanya tear gas. Unajua umefanya remix ile ya Wajackoyah. Ndio kila Mkenya wenye ako hapa ama nyumbani ajiulize Wajackoyah atafanya nini, na msikize what Wajackoyah will do for you. Tear gas.
Haya, nishawafunza hiyo ngoma, si ndio? In a 1, 2, 3, let's go.
hope that they can move forward and they can be emancipated from mental slavery. I thank you very much. Secondly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you, here. And I'd also like to thank the chairman of Roots Party, Mr. Musheru. I'd also like to thank the Meru group, the group that came from Meru, led by Mr. Yagnik. Please just raise and say. I'd also like to thank the group led by my friend Bilal, wherever you are. I take this opportunity to thank the reggae community, particularly the leaders of the reggae community. And before I give my speech, my short speech before we go to our 10 commandments, I would like to assure the reggae people that while I was practicing as a lawyer in the United Kingdom, before I moved to the United States, we had a case, and that case was a Rastafarian case which was taken to the courts by a Rastafarian movement who wanted recognition as ethnic minorities and recognition as their religion as a religion of emancipation from mental slavery. When that case was taken over, they said that Rastas were not old enough. They have never been there for 60 years, and therefore they were not qualified to be known as a religion. That in itself led to a lot of outcry in the United Kingdom, and that's why this issue of the Race Relations Act 1991 came about. I am with you. I'm a Rastafarian. My son, who plays football in UK, is a Rastafarian. He's an engineer, and my household compelled me to go to Jamaica to buy a piece of land in Montego Bay, where I build a house for my children, meaning that wherever you are, if you look at the statistics of people who are in jail, the Rastafarian community, I would say, and I would like to thank you, as very, very few. I don't think whether they're over 10, apart from those who have been enlisted, arrested, harassed, taken in jail for possessing a source or a stamp of marijuana, which informs me that the man who was arrested recently in Nyeri, that graduate from Egerton, from Moi University, who was only doing a deserving purpose to disengage from criminal activity, to engage himself from an economic activity, to have himself, because of unemployment, to heal himself through the herb. That man was arrested, and I saw it on television. I felt so bad the way the police officers were treating him like a criminal. I, having been a police officer myself before, could not treat someone like that. That was an inhuman and barbaric kind of degrading situation. I also look at the people who are arrested with the 2 sacks of marijuana in Northeastern Province. Anyone who is actually arrested with marijuana, the police are fond of calling the media. I would like to take this opportunity to tell our media, the 4th estate, that whereas it's your duty to a thing, seated on soil, being asked very relevant, stupid, and archaic questions, instead of being taken to the courts for the lawyers to do their job. The police now become the judges, the police now become the doctors, they become psychiatric experts to start harassing a young man sitting on the ground, asking very stupid questions. And I can assure you that if such cases were in the UK or US, after you have been given your rights to remain silent, there's no any other word that ought to be uttered. But the police in Kenya are misusing their legal authority. And that's why they need to be informed by harassing people, calling in the media before proving somebody's innocence, and putting the whole family out there as a family of barbaric. And that's why we are going to release. We're going to release all of them. We are going to decriminalize it, the way the United States and the federal government in the US has decriminalized marijuana for purposes of economic growth. I also take this opportunity also to thank the Somali community and our representative from Northeastern for having been very much robust. What he didn't tell you is that members of the Somali community are punished twice in this country. They are punished twice because, one, because they are Somalis, and secondly, whenever they go to take their identity card, they have to prove 4 times of being Kenyans than their fellow Kenyans in the other parts of the world. That is going to end. That is going to end. And I can assure members of the Somali community that you are going nowhere. You are going to live in this country, and we are going to reward you by moving our capital city from here to Isiolo, so that you can also know that issues of loyalty to the system, issues of following political leaders or political correctness, issues of clanism, issues of tribalism has to end henceforth. The world is hemp country. We are now producing and introducing a new tribe in Kenya known as the hemp tribe, where everyone will be proud of himself and solution through the hemp, because it heals us, it brings us from mental slavery, and it also makes us strong in terms of economic earnings, so that we become #1 economic earners in the world, since we are the first country in the world to produce the most powerful president on earth, Barack Obama. And ladies and gentlemen, before I go ahead, we have received a lot of criticism from members of the clergy. It's my humble opportunity to appeal to them to read our manifesto first. Let them read our manifesto first. We don't have any problems with the clergy. We don't have any problems with the religion. We actually guarantee freedom of expression. But please do not abuse that by being very selective. Instead of praying for our souls, don't dialogue, so that we can discuss this thing, so that we can have a common understanding. But you have no right to condemn what you're supposed to heal, to condemn the souls that you're supposed to pray for. Then if you're condemning this soul, then when we die, who will actually go to heaven? Do you condemn us? Or do you emancipate us from condemnation? Do you contaminate us? Or do you emancipate us from contamination? Do you abuse us? Or do you heal us from the abuse? What image are you trying to portray? What image are you trying to portray as a man of God? Not all men of God are bad. Neither are we all bad. But when there's a problem, let us discuss it and have dialogue. And I can assure you that even if you go to Rome today, you go to Mecca today, you'll find out that religious purity is within the books of God. And to those that think that I've offended them, I'm willing to tell God today to forgive me. To forgive me so that we can have dialogue. But God, do not forgive me if you know that I was right. I'm asking you, God, not to forgive me if you know that I was right and live, not through another individual. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our 10 commandments or our manifesto, let me also appeal to you that we have many, many Kenyans in the diaspora. We have millions of Kenyans, or we have millions of shillings and pounds and dollars sent in by our fellow Kenyans who are in the diaspora, and nobody's thinking about them. Nobody's thinking about how to put up structures like what Malaysia has done, like what Philippines have done, so that we can actually be proud of being Kenyans who are in the diaspora. And when I say Kenyans, I'm talking of Kenyans of indigenous origin and Kenyans of Asian origin. Kenyans of indigenous origin and Kenyans of Asian origin who have gone out there and they have done so well in their migration theory, and they have made the world feel so good by contributing what they have in terms of brain drain. We now need brain gain. We need to gain from what they have been drained to bring that back home, and let us actually be the first government on earth, the first government in Africa, and the first government in Kenya to recognize the values of the Kenyans in the diaspora. Having myself stayed there for many years, where I had to be a mortuary attendant, where I had to clean the old people in old people's homes, where I had to be a grave digger, where I had to clean them red buses in UK, where I had to go through the coals. But I had only one agenda: to come back home and bring what I earned through hard work, through sweat, back in this country. And when I came in this country, I can assure you for free, ladies and gentlemen,
and those who are here. Those who are coming in to label us, those who are using my name on social media to purport to be myself, writing things that are not right, I forgive them today because they do not know what they are doing. Politics of this kind are very destructive politics. We have had our Excellency, His Excellency the President. We also have had His Excellency the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. We also have had the Deputy President, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, as people who have been, and I respect them, and I'll continue respecting them for the role they have played. I am not here to point at them because they're my colleagues. But one thing I have to say today is that let us have a common ground whereby we don't initiate that in our campaign by coming up with bloggers who purport to be us. What actually are we fighting for in this country? Are we not fighting for economic emancipation and economic freedoms so that we can stand to be counted as men of integrity? Or are we fighting to darken each other's names? Are we fighting here to point fingers at others? If you find us pointing a finger at any other presidential candidate without actually mentioning the wrongs that are being done to the people, then just ignore. Similarly, if you find some people writing things about us people who are writing things about us, saying that we need to be taken here and there, just ignore. They are seeking some kind of, audacity to be heard. We are not answering them. Don't answer them. With these few words, ladies and gentlemen, may I again laud the young men and women who have come in today, who have sacrificed. Young men and women who have come in this place without asking for money. Young men and women who have come here today to sacrifice for their future. Young men and women who are sitting in this podium, who have come from Mathare, who have come from Kangemi, who have come from Kibera and Kayole, on barefoot, without being given money, without being bussed in here, without having our men and women singing and dancing before others after the few coins that they have been paid. I can freely tell you that what I've seen here today should be what we should be doing every day. What I've seen here today should continue after the 9th of August. When we take over the government, we are going to inherit a very, very huge debt. Don't you dare be told, and let truth be told today. Some people are saying that in the first 100 days, they are going to do this, they are going to do that. As we are inheriting problems, we are inheriting deficit, we are inheriting financial disaster. The issue of happiness should not be there. Let us rejoin ourselves. Let's look into ourselves. Let's look at ourselves in the mirrors. What kind of government are we inheriting? We are inheriting a bankrupt economy. And for the first 100 days, not 100 days, 500 days, or let me say 6 months, or let me say probably 1 year, we are going to have to work very hard. It will be a period of tears. It will be a period of not ululation, not harmony, but a period of disaster. Because we shall be like, now, where do we go from here? Do we continue borrowing, or do we sacrifice to have what we have? I'm going to sacrifice my gold, the one that my daughter bought me when she passed her exam. I'll sacrifice this. We'll put it somewhere and melt it to cure the disasters of this country for the first 1 year as we grow hemp. We are also going to look at judiciary. We are also going to look at judiciary, and we shall ask ourselves, why were these laws made, and who made this law, and for what purpose? Were these laws made to injure and punish the poor, to have them last in poverty? Or were these laws made for the rich people, or to punish young people who have no employment, who have nowhere to go? When they see something like marijuana, to actually treat their emotions, they are arrested and beaten and thrown in jail. Is that what we want with the judiciary? Or do we want to have a new mechanism of judiciary so that people can participate in that judiciary to have proper judicial outcome? Or do we have to have this archaic law from Britain? These punitive laws that were brought in by the colonial masters, and we are told this is the law, you have to follow it. Whose law is it? We have to introduce what we call subaltern laws, laws of the people. And the only way we can introduce laws of the people is to suspend the Constitution, to suspend part of that Constitution, to suspend the Constitution, suspend the Constitution. The first people to attack me are those people in suits and ties, people who purport to have gone to school, people who purport to know that law is meant to be law. Tunafuata sheria, tunafuata sheria. Hiyo sheria mkifuata namna hivyo tunaungua. Ukienda nchi zingine watu wamesema pana, let us have alternative dispute mechanism. Ili mtu akiiba kuku ya mtu, tujue ni kwa nini aliiba hiyo kuku ya mtu. Aliiba hiyo kuku ya mtu akiwa na njaa, ndiye achinjie watoto wake wakule to survive. Survival for this. Ama unashikwa na polisi, huwezi kuulizwa kwa nini umeiba. Can we call the owner of the chicken and ask him, look in my eyes. If you are hungry like this man, and your children were sleeping hungry, and maybe has a wife who has given birth and there's nothing the wife can eat to maintain the child, and maybe he was afraid that if he asked you, you'll chase him away. Would you really do this kind of thing? Therefore, we need reconciliation at all levels. We need reconciliation at all levels. We need to talk to each other. We need laws that harmonize relationships between people or the Hemp tribe. We don't need now to call the police and the chief. Something like Changa. A child came to my home recently, a little boy, and he said, Dad, I want you to listen to me. Then I said, what is it? He said, I've passed my exam. My mom brews Changa. I can't go to school because the Changa that was brewed yesterday to be taken to Maraj Estate in Busia, the chief came and threw it away. Therefore, I have no money to go to school. What would you do to such a kind of a child? Ladies and gentlemen, what will you do to such kind of child? What will you do to that chief? Answer me. Answer me. What will you do if you go home and you find that something very petty has led to someone being arrested and denied his life? What I did is I said, son, I'll take you to school. And my PA is here. Wambua, stand up. That's the guy who does everything that I do. I told him, find out where the school is. Of course, it was just next to me. And get fee for that kid to be paid for a year. On top of that, we also gave a stipend. And as I speak, there is also a young Maasai man in this room. That young man, I met him when he was in Stare Boys. His socks were torn. It was at YWCA. And he came to me and he's like, I am an orphan. That's why I'm in Stare. But I always thought that Stare Boys was for the best. I didn't know that it was for the orphans. Then I realized that his socks was torn. And I said, haven't they given you school you were? He said, no. The rest is up to him. He has already graduated with Bachelor of Commerce from Mount Kenya University, courtesy of our office. But then do we need to tell the world with whatever little that we do? Do we need to brag that we have done this and this and that? That's why we go wrong with the political entities in this country. They do something small, they want cameras to follow them, so that they are seen to be doing what they have to do. Now, before I continue, let's now look at that. Our manifesto. I will start by saying, number one, I don't know if you can hear me. If you have access, or if your eyes have access to the shutter at the top of the room, our manifesto number one says we shall legalize weed. But I would like Dr. Guada to come and stand near me, because that man is a blueprint of information that this country has refused to follow. This man has of recent advised a president in the neighboring country to start marijuana, and he has started it, though I will not name the president. Professor, if I go wrong, just pardon me and take over. But because of time, I will go very fast. Number one acre of Bangi can earn you $78,000 or 8 million per harvest. Per harvest. A harvest takes only 6 months. Now, if you have to harvest, that is 16 months, you earn 16 million. Of course, it will come with the tax implications so that you can raise money and revenue for the government to continue with what it ought to do. The whole of Nyeri county is 583,000 acres. This means that if we grew bank in Nyeri County, Nyeri residents will earn $45 billion or 4.6 trillion per harvest. Kenya today owes China, or the debt we have today is $10 trillion. Mengine unaweza kujazia. Where's number one? I thought we started with number one. Yes. And because Banki is harvested twice a year, it means Nyeri residents will earn $92 billion or 9.2 trillion every year. This means if we grew bank for export, Nyeri is in 1 year, will earn the equivalent of Ethiopia's GDP. If we grew bank in Nyeri alone, as you see, each Kenyan could get a dividend check. In Nyeri, each Kenyan would get a dividend check of 200,000 Kenya shillings every year from the sale of banking. That's Nyeri only. That means that we shall be very happy with that amount just from one county. Semeni haleluya. Kila mtu atakuwa anafanya nini? Ana pesa yake. Utakuwa na bodaboda ya nini? Utauza miraa. Si miraa ikitoka una export tu na huko na pesa nyingine extra. Utakaa kwako ama utakaa kwako? Utajenga nyumba ya mabati ama ya tiles? Tuendelee. If we grew Bangi in Nyeri alone, we would build 3 expressways in each county in Kenya. 2 express in each county in Kenya. If we grew Bangi in Nyeri alone, Kenya could buy Bill Gates and Microsoft in just 2 years. Canada, last year alone, of 75,000 acres, harvested $486 billion. And you see all the drones you see flying here and there, they are made up of fiber, which is from hemp. If you look at Canada, this year, they manufactured the first plane made out of hemp, a product of marijuana. Now, if that plane was to land in Kenya today to pick up passengers because of international law, has Kenya got any jurisdiction to go and inspect the fabric of that plane? Let us stop joking. Let us stop being given unfair promises that cannot be fulfilled. We have the solution. And please let me finish. You know, I went to school slowly. I was not making. There was a point that was down there. But let's continue. Yes. If we grew bank in Nyeri alone, Kenya will have 10% of IMF total cash reserves. In short, we'll never have to borrow a single coin in future. And Kenya will become the richest country in the world. Mount Kenya was made wealthy by 2 cash crops, coffee and tea. In fact, Kikuyus got their economic head start in 1923 when they were allowed to grow coffee and tea. Before 1923, it was illegal for any indigenous Kenyan to grow both crops. Bangi is our next cash crop. It grows widely in Mount Kenya. Question is, If we required the permission of Muzungus, who have now legalized bangi, why should we legalize? We have punitive laws. We have punitive laws which were imposed on Kenyan Parliament through foreign aid na kada. Na wakati wametengeneza hiyo sheria, because wameambiwa msipotengeneza hii sheria tutawapatia mkopo, unaona wengine wanaenda kucheza hapo wakisema I've now made the rule, I've now made the rule. I wish there was a mimic here. Wanaenda to rejuvenate, putting our men and women in jail for things that are not proper, having punitive regulations in this country that are putting our country outside the circles of morality. That's why we should have morality and solidarity. Repeat after me, morality and solidarity. That is Roots Party for you. But for the others, and repeat after me, is morality and is solidarity and immorality. Solidarity and immorality. That's what you see, and that's how I define our opponents. Because they are in solidarity with immorality. They are telling us lies, package of lies, package of lies. They are not telling us how. We are telling you how. And that is the truth. It takes a man. It takes a man like Daktari here, who first of all started this crusade, went to the Senate twice, was thrown out because the pharmaceutical companies that I'm opposed to, who make medicines, have got what we call the lobbying scheme. When they hear that Kenya wants to legalize bangi, they will call in the ministers concerned. Can you come for a talk in Britain? Whatever monies they are given probably, and we know, and have figures, and trust me, I'll trash some of these opponents when they bring, yeah, you get them with bank accounts in Singapore. In Singapore, and I know who has money in Singapore and Dubai. In Singapore, so long as you can pay taxes on monies that you take there, that becomes legal. The wash that we know, the monies are taken to Singapore, they pay 15%, and then they bring it through Dubai to this country. Some of those opponents, let me tell you this, because I have the information, to wash money. When the time for hanging comes, I will hang those ones when the laws are there. Tunataka kila mtu atuambie, including myself, ni pesa ngapi uko nayo? Hizi nyumba unaishi ulitoa wapi? Hii magari uko nayo umetoa wapi? Hii watoto wako kila wakati wakiwa wagonjwa naenda ng'ambo unapelekanga namna gani? Hii uongo unatudanganya kila siku unatudanganya kwa nini? It's up to you guys to ask. It's my humble opportunity to exercise. It's my humble opportunity to exercise your right to vote. To get that vote, as Mr. Kanye has said. He's a statistician, very humble man, and probably that's why Justina chose him. Because if you look at Justina, umeona kama amechoka kwa uso, umeona kama amechapa, so huyo mnaweza kumwamini na wasichana wenu. That's why alichukua kwa kamjamaa. Nafikiria hiyo ni mambo tutaongea baadaye. Number 2, snakes. Snakes. The Bible says that a snake, which they call a serpent, was a very brave animal. Inaendelea kusema kwamba hiyo ndio ilidanganya Adam. Na hiyo ni story zao, hataki kwenda in between, because kunasemekana kwamba kulikuwa na matunda ilikuliwa huko. Na watu wengine wakakasirika, ndio kwa maana watu wakaanza kujiona uti. Like the kind of snake I'm talking about, ni ile snake yenyewe, original. Hata mimi nikiwaonyesha hivi journalists, hii yote ni majeraha ya python when I was a young boy. How it really squeezed me to swallow me. To swallow me when I was young. Thank God I'm still alive. So I know the dangers of the snake. But the good part of it, the good part of that snake I'm talking about, is that it's carrying something in it. It is carrying something in it that is very productive, that will give us $1 billion US per year. Na mimi nataka watu wachanuke tafadhali. Tumezoea ile lugha ambayo tunafundishwa kila siku for the last 50 years. Tukiambiwa kitu kama hiyo, wengine wanakimbia. Na wale bloggers wa ule mwingine ambao mmechukua jina langu kuongea on my behalf, endeleeni tu, lakini your lies will soon be disapproved on the 9th when I take over as the president of this country. Wengine wanajiita Professor Wajackoyah kwa Facebook. Ile kizungu anaandika haki ya Mungu kisoma, unajijazia. We will rear snakes. Can I come back to my snakes, please? Allow me to go the way I am. I'm a professor of law. We will rear snakes. If we did snake farming, each venomous snake farmer will earn an average of $6,000 or 600 oil antivenom. Kadogo tu unanyonga kidogo, kanatoka chui, kanaingia kwa chupa. Ako peke yake is 600 Kenya shillings, unaweka kwa mfuko, unaiwacha inaendelea. Alafu inasemekana hapo kwamba, for example, a cobra farmer will make $6,300 from a vial of cobra antivenom. If you harvest black mamba antivenom, a Kenyan farmer will take $5,300 per vial. Supposing you have 3 snakes. Nyoka tatu tu mtaonyeshwa kuvuga. Mtaonyeshwa how to keep them. You will be shown because the government will give you money from ganja to put a proper infrastructure. Here you are a ganja farmer. Na unaweka uchimani ya nyoka kule kwa ganja, ndio mtu asije kukuibia usiku. Alafu na harvest both sides. Will you not be happy? Will you not be happy? Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you that we have wealth. We have wealth in our country. We don't need to depend on these people anymore. You are the Rastafarians saying here. They said something about Patricia Lumumba. They talked about Haile Selassie. They talked about freedom of emancipation from slavery. When we look around ourselves and we ask ourselves questions, for how long are we going to be dictated upon? For how long are we going to be unemployed? For how long are we going to be told lies? Kazi kwa vijana, labaro na kijiko. Kwa hiyo, alafu naambiwa at the bottom up ikienda juu na wheelbarrow. Na wewe umesoma kizungu, wewe umesoma kwa university, unaenda nyumbani, unaambiwa ati sisi tutakupanga, ati kina boda, kina mama. There will be no mama mboga in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa ni enough. There will be no wheelbarrows in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa enough. There will be no hypocrisy in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa enough. There will be no lies. There will be no lies in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa na yake. There will be no theft in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa na pesa yake. Ukienda Greater Somalia, which hived itself from Somaliland, or let me say Somaliland Republic, kulikuwa na mambo mengi ya shifter na gorilla na nini, lakini sasa hizi ukienda huko, you can leave your money safe. You don't need to have a bank outside na unalala kwako. Lakini hapa mtu anakuibia, alafu anakuja kukuambia wheelbarrow. Mwingine anatoka huko, anakuambia I'll give you 6,000. What can 6,000 do to you? Surely. What can 6,000 do? At I'll give you 6,000. Nawe mwenyewe tuambie ile pesa uko nayo ulitoa wapi? Wewe tuambie kila siku your family ndio wanaenda bunge wanakuwa hii na come on Kenyans, wake up. My brother is here. He's not even a member of the Roots Party. Where is he? Hey, can you stand up? Yeah. That's my brother, anaitwa Mzito Warumba kwa small radio station kule Bungoma. Lakini yeye namtreat tu kama nyinyi. Hakuna special treatment hapa. Alikuwa anataka kusimama kura, just sit down. Nikamwambia it's your democratic right but not on my party. Because ukijaza mama yako, brother yako, nyanya yako, auntie yako, mnaenda bunge kufanya nini? Why can't you give other people an opportunity? Why can't you give a Rastaman an opportunity as a nominated member of parliament? Why can't you give people who are down there opportunity to be who they are? Why must you be the one having everything? Ukiendesha gari ukienda mahali karibu na mtu mwingine, ukiona nyumba to otno en marnga, yani hiyo nyumba ni ya nani? Unataka kujua mwenye hiyo nyumba kama amekuletea pesa. Justina is a very strict person here, and my Secretary General Adam also just stand around here to be seen. Hawa watu hawana mchezo. When it comes to nomination, ukija na meno ya paka atakwambia get out of this place. Thank you Justina. Sisi nomination yetu ilikuwa kali sana. We did not want hooliganism. You'll never see Professor's brother or sister akiwa karibu na mimi. Brokers, that's what I'm talking about. There's no brokerage. All of you are my brothers and sisters. That's why I'm here. Mchina, nitakuja kwa Mchina baadaye. We will export dog meat. Wengine wameanza kusema tu ati wengine, there's nothing wrong kulala na umbwa yako. There's nothing wrong kutembea na umbwa yako. Dogs are medicine to us also. They are healing. But then we have got excess market of dogs in Lubao market in Kakamega, where we have so many poor people. Where I come from, we have so many dogs. The dogs that were in Madare North, Wachina walikula wakamaliza. Unasikia tu kadogi kamefanywa kitu, kamewekwa dawa, kamepotea. But we shall export dog meats to China. We shall export hyena meat in China, because fisi, hatuhitaji fisi katika Kenya hii. Mchina anakulanga fisi. Na tukichukua mimi nasikia 1000 fisi 1000. Fisi 1000 wanaume wako na makende 2000. Na mimi nasikia hiyo makende ya fisi ni dawa kwa China. Let's speak it the way it comes. Kwa hivyo hiyo makende iko na bei mingi sana kushinda hata ganja. Kende moja ni karibu milioni 6. Kwa hivyo we shall export makende ya fisi, dog meat pamoja na fisi. One kilogram of dog meat costs 6 times more than the price of a kilogram of goat meat. Kenya exports beef, goat and lamb, the Middle East, for instance, wherever it is. Kwa hivyo nimewaambia tena, wacha nirudie hiyo point nikiemphasize. Nyama ya nyoka inaenda China. Wakishakula then tumelipa. Alafu ngozi ya nyoka takuwa na industry hapa ya kutengeneza viatu na kutengeneza kila kitu. This time we are the ones going to export snake skins. Hatutapeleka huko ndio tuuzie tena. Tuendelee. Number 4. Hapa nataka mnisikize vizuri. Hapa nataka mnisikize vizuri. Kuna mtu anaitwa Kemsa. Kuna mtu anaitwa Kimoror Dam. Kuna mtu anaitwa Kura. Kenya Road, sijui nini roads. Tunajua hizo contracts nani wamechukua na kawagawanya. Family ngapi? 3 tunazijua. Niseme nisiseme? Haya. Tuna procurement issues na my sister here has a masters in procurement. Ikitokezea mahali kuna familia ngapi? 5 ambazo zimegawanya Kenya. Mimi niko na solution. Because hatuwezi kufanya hivi, kila wakati mtu anatoa pesa. Anakuwa the most revered faithful, naenda kununua Mungu ndio akulinde na pesa za wizi. Mungu hata kubali mwizi aende amununue. Hata Yesu mwenyewe alikataa kununuliwa alipoonyeshwa ati in my kingdom hiyo yote ni yangu. Hii mikate iko hapa, kuna tudemu hapa, namna hii na namna ile, inama chini unipigie magoti. Yesu alimwambia huyo mtu alisema nini? Mnasikia hiyo ni yenu. Kwa hivyo hapa kumekuwa na watu they just take no discipline in our society, especially in those who are in social fabric, who are bound to bring social relationships within people. If you see somebody who is meant to cure you, emotionally, psychologically, and bring you back to fold. Taking stolen money without asking the source of that revenue. Taking stolen money, buying himself a candle and enriching himself. The same way somebody tried to bring 200 million to me. Ati nichukue hiyo pesa ndio niende ni campaign kwa opponent yake, ndio opponent yake aanguke. Imagine what would have happened to all of you who believe in us. Ninunuliwe na pesa kidogo ndio sasa ile furaha mko nayo iende chini. Nitatembea Nairobi, simtaninyonga. Simtaninyonga. I am on the ballot to do that. We shall hang those people when we put legislation in place. When we suspend the constitution, part of what we are going to ask them is, can we revert to death penalty? Or can we hang them? Because in China, when you steal in China, they hang you. In Japan, when you suspect yourself to have stolen from the government, you commit suicide. In Britain and America and Germany, they take you to jail. But in Kenya, you go to parliament. That is why you see a lot of punitive laws from Nakada, punitive laws and proclamation from those who believe that they are near a God, telling you, munapotezwa na huyo. Because they know that you are going to seal the loopholes of corruption and the loopholes of free things, because you will have enough money, which will enable Kenyans to build their own churches and mosques. Because if you have the Bible or a Quran, you can directly pray to God, personal relationship with God. Or you can hire a pastor to come and pray for you, right or wrong. But we shall not have thugs who will walk with the Bible and spit on your head and come and tell you that I can see there is a demon here. If they cannot remove the demon from themselves, how can they remove your demon? Those people who are casting the Rastafarians, those people who are casting other people, huyu ni shetani ashindwe. But he himself is Satan. Watu lazima wajiangalie, watu lazima ambie watu ukweli, watu lazima preach the right message to the Lord. Watu lazima tuangalie namna hiyo. Hamwezi kuja kulabel the people who want to emancipate you guys from chains of slavery. Acha nikuwe Satan, but if you follow me, then we shall together go to heaven, if heaven is there. Hallelujah. We are going to write down 3 things. Number 1, ukiwa umepatikana na hatia, umeiba, kutakuwa na choices of kifo. Number A, sentence itakuwa hivi. How would you like to die? Number A, lethal injection. Number 2, being stoned. Number 3, being shot, firing squad. Or number 4, being hanged. I love there will be a caveat there that if you choose number 4, being hanged, then utatengenezewa ugali na chapati na kuku, ndio ukienda kufa uwe umeshi. Kwa hivyo wewe kamata mara moja unakufa saa hiyo. Kweli rongo? If we kill about 14 of them, wengine wata, that's what has happened in China. Huko wezi kuiba. 2 weeks ago they hanged 2 mayors because of corruption. Lakini ile napenda sana ni ile ya Afghanistan. If you are a politician and you have stolen, your hanging method is different from a civil servant. Ukiwa politician, unawekwa sigara kwa mdomo hapa. Kwanza unavalishwa suti na tai, alafu wanafufunua hivi. Wanaweka kamba hapo, wanaweka huko juu. Majuu kabisa. Alafu wakishaweka hivyo, wanakuhakishia sigara, wanakuambia vuta kwanza ukisema mashetani yako. Then they hang you to forget about you for life, so that people don't come and steal from us again. Nyonga mwizi! Nyonga mwizi! Nyonga hao! Nyonga hao! Amen. Aka kachuma kutoka Mombasa mpaka Naivasha. Ako kachuma na kaweka ndani ya meli. Nachukua tu Chinese naweka kwa hiyo meli na magunia 500 ya bangi. Tunaambia nendeni kwenu. Why am I speaking like this? China is rotten. Wherever the Chinese go, there is a problem. Can I say it? Niseme nisiseme? When they went to Sri Lanka, they took the port of Sri Lanka as collateral. Sri Lanka now is bankrupt. The embassy cannot even afford to pay its rent. Civil servant cannot be paid because China has taken their port as collateral. When they went to Mozambique, they took Beira as collateral, the port of Beira, gone. When they went to Zambia, they took Lusaka International Airport, gone. When they went to Uganda, they have taken Entebbe. Entebbe International Airport is under siege. But Museveni has done one thing, and Dr. Gott is here, who has worked for Museveni for years. I am sure, if you didn't advise him, I don't know. Museveni saw that Ugandans were going to lynch him, and do you know what he did? He called in the Israelis, and he gave them 150,000 acres to grow wheat. Kusema, fanyeni haraka, nilipa watu Entebbe isiende. Museveni has legalized wheat as a result of the Chinese mismanagement of African economy and neocolonialism. And what the Chinese are doing in this country is very pathetic. We don't know whether they have taken Lamu, whether they have taken Mombasa, and whether they have taken where? Kisumu. I'm told they have taken it, if you read today's newspaper. If it is true that they have taken those reports, and then when it comes to civil engineers who are supposed to do their job properly, hao ndio wanafanya kazi ya mkono. Mchina anakaa pale, ile Mchina ambaye alikuwa amehukumiwa na kuja hapa kufanya kazi kama kafiri, yeye anakaa hapo, kanakaa hivi, tunakaanga hivi na tule tumachotoa kidogo, wanachunga wa Kenya. That's why our roads have become accident zones. Our roads in Kenya, zile built by Chinese, they have become prone to accidents. Sasa wameanza tumaua wengine hapa, wanasema kwamba, wanasema ati hiyo tu vitu naona tule tumkebe to plastic, ati Jesus Christ, ati hiyo tumkebe wanaweka maua. Hiyo maua imepewa kandarasi wa Kenya fulani, wa familia fulani. Tumekufa tu na China ndio amele, hiyo itakuwa ni bangi. Of course, as my deputy has said, we shall regulate the growth of bangi for purposes of export and medicinal. The Chinese people will have to leave. I'll be on the 9th, after I've been sworn in, I think, wherever that date. After 2 days, I'll recall Kenyan ambassador to China, immediately to Beijing. And I'll ask the Chinese government to recall the ambassadors, that we start fresh negotiation, and I'll cancel all those contracts. I'll want to know, and Kenyans will want to know, who made this contract, who signed this contract, what was the kickback? And I'm putting those people on notice. Anyone who was involved in those contracts, alive or dead, you will have to be accountable. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use members of the military. I'm going to call our men and women in the barracks, because they are more disciplined than some of these people. I'll commingle their soldiers, particularly those who have studied law, in special tribunals to help me work on this country. The goodness with the Kenya Army or members of armed forces is that if they are put somewhere, they work clean. And that's why His Excellency, the President of this country, took one of them, General Mbadi, to Nairobi County, and you have seen what Mbadi has done. Hasn't he done something good? Who can clap for General Mbadi? His Excellency, the President, has also gone to Kenya Meat Commission. Hasn't he revived it by putting a general from the Kenya Army? Why can't I also tell our men in the disciplined forces to come out of the barracks and work with us, because they are Kenyans? When they came out to work on Uhuru Park, the engineering battalion from Kenya, they made something which is permanent. If you go to Uhuru Park, walitengeneza kitu safi. Therefore, I'm appealing to our members in Kenya Armed Forces that hata nyinyi, especially the engineering battalion, na vijana wetu wa engineer, mtatoka barracks, mtakuja kujenga barabara zetu, tuwe na specifications zetu. Ile pesa ambayo tungepatia wa Chinese itabaki hapa, because tutakuwa na enough money from Bangi, tutakuwa na enough money from Venom, so that we can prosper. This is a nation of prosperity. This is a nation of prosperity. I know that some people are going to say later on that, oh, huyu mtu anataka kuharibu watoto wetu. Shindwe. Ukienda Jamaica, Jamaica is a great country. Jamaica is a country that grows bangi. Israel grows bangi. Ukienda Jamaica, the number of mental patients in Jamaica is not even there. Lakini ukienda Mathare Mental Hospital, outpatients are 60,000. Inpatients are 20,000. Now, do you want to tell me that I'm mad? I am a madman. I'm a madman to say or to pinpoint at realities. And what kind of medicine are they given anyway in Mathare? Hawapei dawa. Sisi tuwapatia msokoto wavute tu na watoke. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Ukiona mchainizi anakuja anaandika mtu Kenya alafu anamchapa viboko atamechelewa kazi. Shindwe kabisa. Shindwe kabisa. Washindwe. Next. Do you have more? Yes. Tutafanya kazi siku 4. I'm telling employers and the middle class that we shall open up a 4-day working formula in a 24-hour open economy, where we shall have infrastructure working for 24 hours. Then we shall have 8-hour shift, whereby if you go in the morning at 8, you leave at 4. Somebody goes to work at 4, he leaves at 11. And the last shift is from 11 to 6 in the morning, which will mean that the rate of employment will increase. The relationship between employer and employee, the relationships between employer and employee will be cordial. Labor laws that are very polished in the entire Kenya will have a holiday. And Kenyans will also be free on Friday in a 24-hour economy, 8 hours a shift, double production. What are we losing anyway? On Saturday, the Seventh-day Adventist is your day. And on a Sunday, Hallelujah churches, your day. But the minority Rastafarians, every day. Besides the Ministry of Hemp, which will be headed by Dr. Gwada, there will also be the Rastafarian and Minority Ministry in this part of the world. And pregnant women, pregnant mothers, we shall have enough money to take care of you as soon as you become pregnant. We are told you are by scientific evidence. Because you are 2 in 1. A woman carries somebody in her stomach for 9 months. That person kicks that woman, does all the damage in her to make her think the other way around. Then after the child is born, the child has actually to have accessories of a mother. They titi the mom, putting scars on her body in terms of those scars when mtoto ananyonya. Kuta mwingine ni wazimu, badala ya kunyonya mama hapa anauma. Those scars are painful, they're emotional. And then after that also, a mama takes the responsibility of that child. It's my sincere hope that mothers will be given, pregnant mothers will be given a stipend, whether married or not married, to take care of themselves for that period. We shall have enough resources. And whoever touches on a woman, the punishment will be there, and that one will come when we take over. We are also like, no, we shall talk, because you also know that there are some men that are beaten by their wives. Lakini mimi bibi yangu amenipiga twice, na mimi nasema it's okay. I walk away. Akinichapa kofi nasema thank you mom. I walk away. Then she comes looking for me and say, honey, can you come back? What about if I slapped her back? Will we have peace in that house? Sometimes there is that coffee I love. Mtu anakuchapa kidogo ndio ive. Ama namna gani? Alafu wewe unatoka huko unaanza kuweka mangumi kwa mama. You are punching what? There will be a severe punishment for those people who do that. There will be no domestic violence in my government. But even if there will be, we shall have to look at them and find out the solution. We shall not rush to the police stations when we have other mechanisms that we can solve domestic problems. The issue of the police or police will come later on. And let me tell you this. Having been a police officer myself, I am so bitter when I see people abusing policemen. What you don't know is that policemen are underpaid. What you don't know is that anything that comes from the government is heaped on a policeman as a punching bag. Wengine wanaenda Japan or China wanakuja hapa wanasema kuanzia leo askari atavaa uniform ya blue. The constitution says, that's why I want to abolish it, that to constitute me, to make me, please ask me to have popular participation in what you want to translate me. Police officers are never asked. They are given orders. You find that a graduate police officer today, when he joins police service, the police service as a constable, he earns the salary of a constable. A graduate police officer who joins the police as an inspector of police earns the graduate's salary. But these people all help loans and interests. Now you tell me, somebody is being given peanuts and somebody is given that, and also the moral solidarity is not there. There is morality, there is solidarity with the morality, because if the two classmates who have joined the police, one as a constable and one as an inspector, earning different salaries, don't you think tuko na shida hapo? Don't you think that we should be proud of our men and women and empower them to do the right work, empower them so that they don't become corrupt, empower them so that they don't become pets of corruption? Don't you think that the police officers should be recognized through empowerment so that they are given the right dues, instead of being given 15,000 shillings to rent a house in Nairobi, na unaenda na bunduki yako, no vehicle? Police officers are on top of my agenda. We shall make the best police force in the country, with one exception, that they will not be arresting Kenyans, because there will be no need of arresting them. We shall have enough money to take care of everybody. So we shall have a 24-hour working economy. I don't know whether that was number 6. Did you have number 6? Now, number 7. Yeah, number 7, please. These are the commandments of German. These are the commandments of our manifesto. We will suspend the constitution. I've spoken about that. I will ask Kenyans, through the preamble of We the People, which supersedes the entire constitution. I'm a lawyer, for God's sake. A lot of lawyers here are very ignorant. They always say the constitution says. The constitution says. But they have no idea of what they are saying apart from simplicity in law school. Unaenda unasoma kadigiri kamoja, unakuwa lawyer, umejifanya wengi. Na sisi tumesoma mpaka tumechambua kila kitu. Let them know that the word the constitution is in the preamble. Those first words that start. Hii ingine inakuja huku. That is supplementary. The preamble says we the people. That's where we stop. So long as you give me the mandate to be the president, I will go back to the preamble and say, I've been given the rights of we the people. And therefore I will have a right to suspend the constitution. Put it on hold and ask all languages and ask Kenyans, what is it that you want? In judiciary, how comes that cases take longer in Kenya than any other place? How comes that corrupt people are jailed for 67 years, they appeal, and when they come out of the appeal, they go to seek for electoral seats? Come on, you know what we are talking to. How comes that case of Chicken Gate versus IEBC, which was 10 years ago, is still ripe in Kenya, and those who committed the same felony, fallacious felony, in Britain have been tried, those found guilty were jailed, and they are out of jail 4 years. Hapa, Akina Oswago are still walking freely, whether he's innocent or not. Let me tell you, the judiciary, wherever you are, the Chief Justice, wherever you are, I'm telling you, as a brother, I am telling you, judges, you will have to account for all your wealth. Because once we suspend the constitution, it will not be bread as over. We shall ask Kenyans to review the constitution and find out. And I'll find out if a case has been pending for 5 years. I'll look at all those magistrates and judges, and we shall ask them, how comes hii case imechukua miaka mingi? What interest did you get in it? Tutawanyonga hao. Nyonga hao. Nyonga hao. I'm the first person to say this, and I don't fear them, because hao huenda choo vile mimi naenda, au hulala vile mimi hulala, au you know, I'm angry, but I'm a president, I can't show my anger. But hawa watu, semeni hivyo, hawa watu, hawa hizi, wanyongwe. Thank you. Number 8, Nairobi is overpopulated, right or wrong? Tanzanians wameenda na Dodoma as a capital city, administrative city, because of congestion in land. Nigeria have put up Abuja as their capital. In Kenya, I would suggest that we create a new capital in Isiolo, because Isiolo has got so much land that if we start building, we cannot even finish. We shall take our administrative capital in Isiolo. We shall improve the lives of the people of Isiolo and Northeastern and Eastern by taking our infrastructures and asking companies that want to build up or to move to Isiolo to give them tax rebates, to encourage them to be like Delaware, so that those who are willing to go and build Isiolo, we exempt them from tax for the first 5 years to attract investment. Dubai was built on the sand, but here everybody here wants to stay in Nairobi. We now have jiggers in Nairobi. Nairobi River has been polluted. The soil is compressed. The sewage system is compressed. You find these rich men going to acquire government land and building houses on them. Hizo zote kabla tujanyonga tutang'oa zote ziende chini. Ng'oa yote vitu ya wizi. Ng'oa yote. Na wale ambao wanarukaruka hapa wanasema ati wacha niwaambie kwa kitu. Unajua Kenya sometimes we are fallopians. Fallosians. Let me speak like a Luo who never went to university. And fallopians, but the tribe aspect is not here, though I speak the language, but I'm a Kenyan. This issue of branding people, these people selling people that are in projects, imetoka kwa wale ambao mnajua. Sisi as Roots Party, we are very neutral. Hatuna matusi, we are Rastaman. Rastaman never accuses anybody. Hawa sasa wameanza kunichukua na Justina. Huyu yuko Azimio, huyu yuko washindwe. Washindwe kabisa. We are on the ballot, that's what I'm trying to say. And Isiolo people, wherever you are, mahali mupo, Isiolo mupo, tunakuja huko kujenga new capital city, na niruhusu nikiwa rais wenyu, hata State House itaenda Isiolo. Parliament will be shifted to Isiolo. State House will be shifted to Isiolo. Administrative buildings zitaenda Isiolo. Hapa will remain as an industrial city. Tuambie watu ya Kiambu ya kwamba you have fed Nairobi, you can as well now do your thing and feed Isiolo. Kweli rongo? Asante. Na iko ingine imebaki. Now, this is where some people go crazy. Everyone wants an identity. If you go to Nigeria, for example, and you go to Ondo State, the number plate ya magari Ondo State ni Ondo 1, Ondo 2. Ukienda Lagos, utaona magari imeandikwa Lagos State, the pride of the state. But in Kenya, we're going to introduce 8 regions for administrative purposes. And we shall have chief ministers in each region. Counties will remain within regions. The federal government will operate from Isiolo, whereby each state will have its own parliament and each state will have its own counties. We shall no longer have 47 governors. We shall have county officers, and whatever state wants to name them or to conjugate them into what have you, it will be there. So that tukiwa na Rift Valley, for example, Nakuru will be the capital city of Rift Valley. And then if a county like Narok produces unga ya ngano, wheat, tourism, hides and skins, the revenues collected in Narok will be debated in the capital city of Nakuru, whereby it's up to the Nakuru city, the Nakuru parliament to decide. When it comes to appropriation of funds and taxation, wataangalia waseme which county has got more revenue. Let us apportion this kind, 70% or 60% to this county. Then 10% can go to federal government to help us in administrative issues, rather than the current system which we have, where all monies are collected by the government, and by the time they go to governors who have become thieves. In fact, I'm going to prosecute almost all of them. I'm going to ask them why they are joining Azimio magavana sa wale ambao tunajua wameiba, wengine wameenda Azimio, wengine wameenda Kenya Kwanza kusimama kama MP ndio wapate wamepeana hao watu pesa ndio wafunike ile uchafu yao. Mnaelewa ama muelewi? Alafu ndio sasa wasimame ile pesa ambayo wameiba ipotelee huko. Hapana. Serikali ya Justina na Wajackoyah tutakunyonga tu. A governor will never hide from 9. Wale magavana ambao wamemaliza 2 terms, you have nowhere to go. You can run, and you can run, but we shall hold you accountable for all the monies. That's why we are proposing 8 regional assemblies, so that people can be accounted to those assemblies. So that when we come now to instrumentalities of commerce, let me speak now like an educated man. When it comes to instruments of commerce, instrumentalities, something owned by the federal government, something owned and paid for by the federal taxes. For example, a highway that is coming from Mombasa, passing through various counties, will be the responsibility of the federal government to maintain. Now, where there is a federal instrument, like a telephone communication wire, which passes from one state to another state, the taxes that are levied on that will be proportionate to what the government has gotten from the state government, whereby we may have 2 sets of taxation. The federal taxation, when you pass through the instrumentalities of commerce, you want to drive your goods from Mombasa to Naivasha, you pass through other counties, then you have to be levied tax to maintain the federal roads that you are driving on, right or wrong. And on top of that also, what I want to say is that there are so many people who have lost their revenue as a result of that Kachuma railway. There are men and women who had infrastructural services, such as transporting functionaries, where we had people with lorries who are transporting goods from the port of Mombasa to the interior of Africa. People who had employed almost a workforce of 500,000 tani boys na loaders, whose monopoly was taken away from them and given to SGR. And those people have been made bankrupt. Those people who are employed by them have been made redundant. My government is going to pay all of them. As we eject this railway, before I go to that point to finish, as we remove that Kachuma, we shall have a new modern technology designed by Kenyan engineers in terms of our infrastructure, in terms of our instrumentalities like railways and highways, in terms of our airports and waterways, whereby the state of Nakuru, the state government of Nakuru, will have now to find out how communication and transportation will be made easy by building their own airports from the monies and subsidies that will be getting from monies generated from counties, and also the federal government. Which means that if you look at the proportionalities of the monies that we talked about, the generating revenue from bank and snake farming, we shall have enough money to take care of everything. We shall no longer be pigeons of anybody. We shall no longer be looking at things. And before I continue, we shall introduce the underground rail system in cities. We shall have people now to decongest, because there will be no border borders. Border borders will be rich, because there will be no mamambogas. We want to make transportation system equitable in terms of equity, requiring clean hands as opposed to unclean hands. We shall build the underground systems, and we shall start by demonstrating on projects from Isiolo as a city, as we build cities going up and up. And therefore, 8 states, the logic behind creation of 8 states is by having state identity. I come from Kakamega, let me say like that. We shall have Busia from, let me say Kakamega. Unajua ni mtu wa Kakamega, ikiwa ni Kiambu 1, ikiwa ni Central, ikiwa Central 1, you'll be proud of your heritage. So that people who are outside can come back in this country and say, we are happy. Instead of having a central government where the president makes it all, takes it all at home, where we have had some Phoebians of insolvency, or Phoebians of immorality, or Phoebians of insolidarity, who come in with things like BBI so that they can have handshakes to please themselves, to have themselves in power forever, to have their children and wives take over from the poor people. We shall not allow that. In my government, we shall not allow that kind of discrepancy. Point number 9, 10, we shall deport all undesirable aliens. We shall deport the Chinese first. Wa China watakwenda kwao, tutawapatia makende ya fisi, tutawapatia nyama ya fisi, tutawapatia nyama ya nyoka, tutawapatia bangi, wakae kwa, tuendelee na kwe, na zile contracts wa China wamesign kuchukua port zetu. If that is true, I will cancel them, and I will cancel all contracts so that Kenya is redesigned to be built again. Ladies and gentlemen, as I leave, I would like you to pledge one thing. We need peace. We don't need to fight. When we live here, let's live as Rastas. Let's live with order. You saw us in Kakamega. You saw us in Busia. You saw us in Kisumu. Did you hear or did you see any incident where a stone was thrown and people follow us? We went to Kirinyaga, we went to Hemp, we have been to reggae clubs and continue spreading the word. Kenyans have become millionaires because of me. They have made shirts out of me to earn a living. They have made stickers, and the only way you can demonstrate DJ and my DJs, what of course mtakuwa na ministry yenu, is to spread the word the way you are spreading. Ukitengeneza kitu kama vile mama ambaye ametengeneza vikombe na picha yetu ama ya Justina, tengeneza, uza, upate hela, uweke kwa mfuko until bangi yetu ya kwanza itaiva mwaka ujao. Asanteni sana. May God bless you. God bless you. Wajackoyah! Wajackoyah!
Naomba kidogo rais, iko vijana wanataka wa perform, then we can close. We have wakardinali in the house. Wakardinali, then we can close. Sindio? Wakardinali. Fire. Wakardinali.
vote, si ndio? Tushawapatia vision, tumeshare na nyinyi vision, mmesema iko sawa. August 9. August 9. Kura tu. God bless you.
Yo.
Are you ready?
Hello.